Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel and I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to see number spiral problem, and the problem states that a number spiral is an infinite grid whose upper left square has number 1. Here are the first 5 layers of the spiral. Okay, and your task is to find out the number in row and column X. Okay, here the problem is pretty easy. Only we have to find the element in a grid for the particular row and column. So in the constant we have given t is less than equal to 10 to the power 5 and y and x in less than equal to 10 to the power 9, and we have given the number of times. After that we have given that number of times of row and column, and just we have to uh, print the element in the grid at that row and column, right? So what we can do, so if you try to build an grid of 10 to the power 9 into 10 to the power 9, this will definitely not going to work. This will get to the TLE. So what we can do, so by observation we can say that if I am choosing only the diagonal element, and I am first of all I indexed 0 1 2 3 4 0 1 2 3 4. So if I am choosing the odd index, let's say 1 and 3, what is happening? From diagonal to the left side it will increase for odd. From diagonal to left side it will increase, and for from top to bottom it will also increase. Okay, for again verify with the 3, and if I'm going from diagonal to the left side it will increase. Okay, if I'm going diagonal from the upper side, sorry, upper to diagonal side, it will also increase. And for even I can see that from diagonal, from the left side to the diagonal it will increase, and from the diagonal to the upper side it will increase the value by +1. Okay, by +1, by +1. So if we find the diagonal element, we can easily find the upper part and the left part. Okay, so what we can do, if you are given a row or a column, okay, so first of all we have to find the maximum between row and column, let's say maxi. Okay, what we can do, we go for this particular diagonal, that is maxi, let's say this is a grid, and what we have to do, if let's say I'm taking an example of 2 comma 3. Okay, so what is the maximum value between 2 and 3? 3. So I am going to the diagonal of 3 cross 3, that is 13. And what is the row for 3? Row for and what is the row in this? This is 2, and currently my row is 2. So I am going back to the row 2, that will decrease. I am going from, what is my maximum over here? 3. So 3 is the odd, and I am going upward. If I am going upward, my element should be decreases. So from 13, if I am going upward, so my element would be decrease. How many? The maximum minus whatever the row. Okay, so 13 minus, what is the max over here? 3 minus 2, it is 1. So 13 minus 2, it will become 12. I am taking the another example. Let's say I am taking 3 comma 2. So what is the maximum over here? The maximum over here is 3. Okay, so again I am taking 3 cross 3 element, which is 13. And what is happening over here? My current column is 3, and I have to go to the second column. So my current column is 3, and I have to go to the second column. When I am going to the second column, my element is increased by +1. How? I just have to take difference between maxi minus current column, this is 3 minus 2 equal to 1, and I have to add this element in my 3 cross 3 element. So 13 plus 1 would become 14. So 14 is the 3 cross for the 3 cross 2, 14 is the right answer. Okay, so we have seen that how can we find, if we have diagonal element, so we can find the all the numbers whatever we required. So how can we find the diagonal element basically? So if we check out the diagonal element pattern, so it is 1 1 3 7 13 21. So there is a pattern in it. What? The difference between this is 2, the difference between this is 4, the difference between 6, the difference between these are 8. So these are the multiple of 2. Now the question is, how can you find this diagonal element? So if I'm writing this in the manner of 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8, so this is 1, this is 1 plus 2 3, this is 3 plus 4 7, this is 7 plus 6 13, this is 13 plus 8, this is 21. This is my 0th row diagonal element, this is my 1th, 2 3 4 and so on. Okay, so if you, let's say if I want n equal to 3, that is the diagonal element of row 3. So let's see if n is 3. So how can you find this? You can find this 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, I am adding 1 for the 0th index and the so on. So if you look closely, this is the AP sum of at a equal to 2, of a equal to 2 and d equal to 2, right? So for n equal to 3, if I am generalizing this, what is the AP sum? N by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 d. So a, d and 2 are equal, so these are cancel out. So n 2 plus n minus 1. This is the formula of getting the diagonal element of nth row. Okay, so how, so let's say if my n is 3, so 3 into 2 plus 3 minus 1. Okay, so 3 into 2 plus 3 minus 1 is also 2, and also I'm adding 1 here. 2 plus 2 4, 4 3s of 12, that will become 13. Okay, if I'm getting n, if I'm going to calculate for n equal to 0, this will become n, this part is also 0, so it will become 1. Now I'm also able to find the diagonal element, or after diagonal element we can find the all number by traversing either from right to left or either from diagonal element to the top. So what would be the overall time complexity for this approach? Here I am just doing the mathematical calculation in the conditional statement. So all these mathematical calculations are big O of 1, and I am just calculating for the th time. So the overall time complexity become big O of t. Now coming to the code section, I am just initializing my t variable, and at each t I am calling a solve function. Okay, and in solve function I am just taking the input of x and y. After that I want the maximum between x and y, so that I can fix the maximum row of diagonal element. Okay, so I am initializing n as the index of diagonal element, so it is the maximum of x and y, right? And also I would just want to make sure it will be a 0 index array. Okay, what I can do further, after getting the index of diagonal element, what I want the diagonal element. The diagonal element would be the 1 plus n into 1 plus n into 2 plus n minus 1. So del is my diagonal element. I have find my diagonal element. I just have to traverse either left or either top to find my actual number. So how can we traverse? So n is the maximum between x and y. I just have to traverse if the x is less than n. So I just have to traverse in upside in the row, and if y is less, then I just have to traverse from the index of the diagonal element to the left side. So I am just taking a condition if x is greater than equal to y. Okay, that means if my row is greater than column. So if my row is greater than column, so let's say I have 3 comma 2. So first of all I am going to 3 is to 3. Okay, I am going to 3 is to 3. What happening what happened after this? I'm going to 3 to 3, and I have just checked my column is less than 3, that will be 2. So I'm just traversing from right diagonal index to left. Okay, so there are two conditions for this, one for the odd, one for the even. When it is odd, it will increment by 1, increment by 1, not even, that is the relative distance between the index and the column. And it is even, it is, after going in this direction, it will decrement by the relative distance. So I'm just taking the condition, if my row is odd, sorry, if my column is odd, so what I can do, if my column is odd, after going from this direction to this, it will increment. So I just print C out. What I can print, diagonal element plus difference between the n minus y. Okay, and if it is even, I can print out del minus n minus y. Okay, and the next case is, if x is less than y, that means if row is less than column, that means at this case, let my row is 2 and the column is 3. So 2 comma 3 would become 12. So the first of all, I'm going to 3 comma 3. Okay, this is at this point. After that, if my row is less than column, so I have to traverse upside. So after on traversing upside, we just have to check, for the odd it will decreases, for even it will increases. Okay, again I am applying a condition, if it is odd, what is odd, my diagonal element, diagonal index odd. If it is odd, I just see out the del, on odd it will, on odd it will decreases minus n minus x, and for the even it will increases. After that, see out indel. So let's check out this code, and I am fine. Okay, first of all I have to just save this. Okay, okay, now it will become 8, 1 and 15. So let's try to submit this code, and yes, it is passed. So if you like this content and if you want more, please subscribe this channel and share among your friends. And if you have better approach, and if you want to give any feedback, let's reach out in the comment section. So thank you.